Дуже дякую за можливість захищати випускну роботу англійською мовою. Мені так і зручніше, і цікавіше. Тема, яку я сьогодні хочу представити, це я переходжу на англійську мову. Development in Adult Education. As I have already presented myself, I am PhD and Associate Professor at University of Educational Management. Also, I am head of the board in Center of Personal and Social Transformation. That is a newly formed NGO. My name is Irina Bondarevskaya. The goal of this presentation is to shape directions for art development techniques in adult education due to tendencies of VUCA world, which require readiness for constant acquisition of new skills. Unpredictable world in which we live now was determined as VUCA in 1987, and starting from 2002, this term is used more frequently. This is an abbreviation which means volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Living in such world and working in such world makes all professionals nearly in all spheres to face crisis. Professional crises in unpredictable conditions of VUCA world are often to destabilization of professional identity. When professional identity is in the system of social identities of a person, professional crisis can lead to a change in professional field for the sake of solving this crisis. That is accompanied by simultaneous balancing of the system of social identities. One of the reasons for such crisis can be incompatibility of values and norms of a person, a professional, a specialist, and an organization in which he or she works. In such cases, specialists can leave the professional field for the sake of preserving oneself. On this slide, I would like to present social identity model, which I firstly described in 2011. You can see that in the center of this model, I put values. The next layer is attitudes. Next layer is of interpersonal interaction. And the outer layer is behavior in concrete situation of interaction. Value attitudes are combined in the meaning content of social identity. Social identity model is applicable to different types of social identities. For example, it can be a professional identity, it can be gender identity, it can be a citizenship identity. And unfortunately, we don't have time now to describe it more precisely. Yesterday evening, I formed the idea of the model of art development in adult education. I will describe it later in some of my publications. Today, I would like only to show it. Actualization, development, and realization of a person's potential often occurs in the process of shifting from one professional sphere to another. In this model, we can see that all these three components are interconnected, and can be started with art development techniques, and inevitably it will move development and the realization of the potential of a person. The potential is what we have, or what we in our character, or what experience we have from our past work, but due to some reasons, we don't use it now. And art development techniques can actualize these components of our identity. of ourselves. Art development techniques through of feelings, emotions, states help specialists to see inevitable changes from the point of opening perspectives for development, show resourcefulness of constant learning in conditions of permanent renewal of skills in order to remain competitive, psychological readiness for constant learning and adaptation despite professional achievements gained by outdated skills becomes indispensable condition for such readiness. Learning can be also considered as prophylaxis of psychological traumatization during professional crisis passing. VUCA world suggests such plurality of meanings that visual metaphor can be used as the most effective instrument which enables to connect personal meanings with ambiguous changing meanings of VUCA world without losing identity and compromising values. Orientation on personal values in uncertain vocal world requires awareness of these values and goals as orientation in behavior, strategy, choice, and actions in each concrete situation. We consider visual metaphor as inherent component of adult education due to activation of emotional and intellectual spheres in conditions of ambiguous and uncertain meanings. I admire the approach of Olga Ugrina to metaphor. She considers as an instrument of emotional and intellectual spheres activation. Our mind turns to metaphor when it is difficult to find ready solutions, explanations, and meanings. A situation with many unknowns provokes a process of metaphor creation. Process of metaphor creation includes such logical operations as comparison and analysis involving imagination, which promotes understanding. Effectiveness of understanding through metaphor is attributable to its ability to activate emotional and intellectual spheres. Examples of such metaphors in art development can be metaphors of stairs, wheel of life, balance, and map of achievements, which I often in postgraduate education. Another very art development technique is scribbling. Molchanova, a therapist, describes scribbling as an unconscious way of traumatic experience taken away, releasing excessive emotions and feelings. Every drawing through lines and forms reflects unconscious. Projection of feelings on outer objects promotes recognition of these feelings. Images accelerate verbalization of experience. Scribbling promotes enhancement of self-esteem, confidence in opportunities, touches spheres of creative potential of personality, describes level of, decreases level of anxiety, and promotes personal growth. To another art therapist, Lebedeva, people express their feelings by scribbling rather than create image or picture. And also it is worth mentioning that scribbling has high diagnostic potential. Scribbling in a group promotes the respectful attitude to expression of initiative from other group members. Group members do not need to worry about quality of drawings, estimation by others. It is an opportunity to relieve a responsibility and stay in the role of a child, as Molchanova states. Another Ukrainian describes that scribbling is a forceful regression to the period when any actions of a child cause delight and positive emotions of parents. That is why implementation of this technique causes even among adults. Can be considered for implementation in education as an as well. I have already tried it several times, and what that after I implemented this technique, interaction with the group, it was quite difficult to finish the lesson because after completing this scribbling exercise, everybody started to talk, they share their experience, want to stop. So this see myself in work experience while learning and teaching the effect of this technique. It helps people to open themselves, to release emotions, and to share their experience. And the last, what I would like to say and to presentation is the technique which might be resourceful in conditions of pandemic when we experience which are intense and sometimes difficult to understand what was the these emotions. What I suggest is a number of 6 or 8 of small rectangular sheets of paper, which you will need to connect in the end of the exercise. Every day, draw your emotions, feelings on a sheet of the paper by using color pencils. Prefer images or minimize them and draw symbols only when they are very important. You can add lines to your drawing during the day, but it is preferably to finish it in the evening in the end of the day and don't return to it next day. After all these days passed, look at your sheets of paper and ask yourself what emotions does you need to connect all these sheets of paper. It will look like a collage. It can be connected by the scotch from the outer layer where there are no drawings. And ask yourself what emotions does this connected collage raises in you, what emotions veil, what change spectrum of these emotions, what were the reasons for these emotions during those days. Nova describes similar technique, the calendar of scribbles, and she mentions the following possible results of such drawings. Among them, unexpected and unusual ideas, clarification of feelings, more precise understanding of situation, improvement of emotional state due to release of feelings during drawings. How the collage can look like. It can be different, totally different, but it is one of the possibilities. And thank you for your attention. That is all what I wanted to share with you today. Thank you. Any questions?